Go for it.
Friggin' what up, dude? Strider Wilson. I'm the host of this podcast that's mine. Going to be called History is Dank. History is Dank with Strider Wilson. Dankness from the ground. Friggin' what up, dude? Welcome back to another ep of History is Dank, dude. I'm your host, Strider Wilson. We got Erin beasting it on the sticks as always, dude. What up, Erin?
What up?
Freaking chilling, dude. When this ep comes out, dude, Valentine's Day will be just a day away. Maybe you're listening just after a nice celebratory sesh with your cig-o, where hopefully both of you owe each other. And that would be freaking oh so nice, dude. But maybe if you celebrate a little more prudently, if I say, but not to have a negative connotation, maybe just cuddle, dude. That'd be nice. Maybe you guys just cuddle and watch Braveheart. I always pitch that to my fiance every Valentine's Day. Just cuddle and watch Braveheart. She's like, I'm down for half of that. It's the Braveheart half. She likes to stand up watching with a broadsword in her hand. You gotta have that, dude. I like to pull out my William Wallace movie quality broadsword that has to go under the bed because it's 6 feet. The ceilings of my apartment are about 7. Can't even unsheath it in there, dude. Just freaking play with it, dude. Go to my balcony, look at it, alarm my neighbors, dude. Just a dude looking at a sword in this era in the city. Yeah, dude. I mean, Erin, you got any Valentine's Day plans, dude?
No. I tried to talk about it last night, and Lee was like, how about a hot no?
Dude, I got to say this, dude. Maybe it's just, I'm chilling, but... And here's the thing. I love making a plan with my dank fiance, dude. Checking some stuff off our list that we've got to do, our agenda, dude, that we keep on the fridge, dude. But, sometimes when it comes to fun, dude, and you've got to, plan fun... I mean, is there anything less fun than that, dude? Being like, oh.
It sucks.
Yeah, it's like, can't it just happen, dude? That's why I love spontaneity, dude. Nowadays, it's like, I don't know, dude, what mood am I going to be on being in that weekend? I've got a presentation at work, probably going to be pretty tired, but then I got to freaking rally and go, I don't know, dude. Crush some sushi somewhere. I mean, look, these are luxurious issues to have, and I'm fortunate to have them. I'm like, here's the thing. Everyone should just be go-karting, dude. Erin, we talked about this. Can we just when you don't have a plan? I mean, that's why they do have these places that exist, like paintball, go-kart. Why do I need to plan any other outing when these things exist? I'll settle for laser tag, What are we going to do Valentine's Day? We're paintballing. Christmas, paintballing. Fucking President's Day. That's around the corner. Paintballing. My mom's birthday. Go-karting. She likes to go-kart. My mom's into go-karting, dude. That's all I'm saying, dude.
Have you ever been to Go-Kart World?
No, dude. Is that
Carson?
The one that's off the 405, the 110?
Yeah, it's off the 405 in Carson.
Yeah.
I always look at it and want to go, but...
Same here. Dude, that's so funny, bro. I've never been to that one. I always just go like K1, or growing up, there's a place called Palace Park, which is now Boomers. I'd cruise to those. But yeah, dude, it's so funny. I've never been to that one.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to stop in Carson.
Yeah, it's just a place you never stop. Carson is somewhere you should never stop. I recently got a parking ticket there.
Ugh.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, bro. I actually went to go watch the USA play Colombia, their national teams. It's kind of like, it wasn't the best players. It's kind of like the players that are trying to make the team, I guess. It was pretty sick. It was fun. But, yeah, dude, other than that, I ain't going to Carson, bro. And it's called go-kart. Here's the thing, dude. If you've got a business, dude, which is also sick because I love businesses, dude, and freaking wearing a poofy vest and just freaking vaping. But Actually, I don't condone vaping, dude. Don't do it, but it's a good look. Maybe just have one, but don't do it, dude. Have that facade, you know what I'm saying? But if you've got a business and all you say after your business is whatever it is, then time or world, I ain't going there. Unless it's donuts, then that works. Like if you've got go-kart world, go-kart time, there's no creative thought going into this. I don't think that anyone there has executive agency or whatever they say that is. No one's making decisions or calls. Burger time, burger world, pizza time, even Pizza Port is better. Pizza Planet, Toy Story, better. Even Planet over World, that slight bit of creativity. You can't have dentist time. Would you go to a place called dentist time? You gonna go to dentist world?
Teeth time. Teeth time.
Wait, which one is it?
Teeth time. That's better.
Teeth, at least it's alliterative.
Yeah. But no,
I ain't going to dental world, bro.
You could tell me that they were shipping in blowjobs, and I'd be like, nah.
You read my mind. I was about to say Blumpkins. I was about to say you want to get an impression made, which is the worst. They basically choke you on wax or whatever that is, but shoving something in your mouth. Yeah. A lady talks to you nice and then shoves something in your mouth, which I do pay for, but I don't want to have that at the dentist. But when I'm there, you could promise me a Blumpkin and a filling, and I ain't going to do it. Because I know Blumpkins don't exist. They're like unicorns. They're not real. If you're wondering why all this Blumpkin talk's going down, please listen to the previous episode on Darren Kuyu, The Buried City. Also, just shout out to History is Dank. Before we get into the topic, which we're going to do in a second, guys. Sorry about all this riff-raff up top. Or fluff, if you will. Big Instagram conglomerate, like, just sort of one of those... Pubity? What is it? Puberty? Pubity? I don't know how to say it. But they go, oh, man knocks over, wall in his home doing renovation and discovers buried city of 20,000. And I was like, bro, they must be listening to History is Dank because we just covered this. Some writers over there. So shout out to the writers over there that are listening to that, or the researchers or whoever is running their media handle, because I'm taking credit for it. Thank you very much. Also, you know what I thought about? I just recently watched Ben-Hur, Erin, and before we get into our subject today, you know what it could have been is like maybe lepers, dude. I don't know if there's that many lepers, like 20,000, but maybe like a leper colony.
That's a lot of lepers.
Yeah, maybe it's just too many. I thought about it though, because I was like watching, like they live in caves and stuff in Ben-Hur, staying out of the sunlight. I don't remember
the lepers in Ben-Hur.
What's that?
I don't remember lepers in Ben-Hur.
His mom and sister, remember? They're in the jail cell, and then because leprosy can be contracted by lack of sunlight, being surrounded by bacteria and all that. Basically, it's just an infection, like a gnarly ass infection. But they become lepers, and then they get healed by like Jesus when he's in one of the Stations of the Cross or something like that. I forget. Well, it's a good ass script.
It's way too long.
Oh, of course, bro. But that's like those movies. I mean, it's unbelievably too long.
Yeah. It's like cut to the chariot race already.
Bro, the chariot, dude, the sequence where they film the chariot races, the fact that they made that in like 1956 or whatever, and it's all practical. I mean, there's some green screening in the background, but dude, it's incredible to put those amount of horses on there and like actually have dudes in chariots.
I mean, even it's probably rear projection, not green screen, but
love that.
Even it looks pretty good.
Like, that was so tight how you just did that, dude.
It matches pretty well.
It does. No, they cut it together. It looks great.
Yeah.
And then famously, that one guy did die, and then they savagely kept that in the movie. Like, it's unbelievable that they kept that in there.
I mean, it's a Bible story.
True. True. No edits, baby. No edits. So that's, definitely worth watching. But you're right. They should remake that, dude. Streamline it. It should be remade.
I think it was a couple years ago.
Oh, it must have been dog shit.
Nobody saw it.
Yeah. I mean, that's right up my alley, and I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be bad. All right, dude. But what we're talking about today is good. Well, kind of. We're talking about the Druids today, dude. Who were they? Why do we know so little? What's going on? But before we get into it, dude, first and foremost, I got to give a huge shout out and a big thanks to our sponsor, Babbel. Babbel. Dude, I got to tell you, it's addictively fun and easy to learn a new language. I'm fired up on it. You know I love gaining knowledge on this pod. And look, I've got some Polish heritage. They've got 14 different languages you can choose from. I chose Polish, dude, because I also want to talk to my boy freaking Tomek over at the bagel food truck on my block. We say dzień dobry to each other, and I want to keep the convo going. So Babbel's going to help me, dude. And right now, get up to 55% off your subscription when you go to babbel.com/dank. That's babbel.com/dank for up to 55% off your subscription. Babbel, language for life. All right, dude. Let's get into the Druids here, Erin.
I'm just psyched you said dzień dobry, man. Like,
yeah, bro.
That's straight out of my grandma's mouth.
Dude, right?
Yeah.
Dzień dobry. Bro, dziękuję.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, dude. So I'm fired up. I'm talking a little bit more about it later, but I'm telling you right now, I'm fired up in Erin. I'm going to be dropping little freaking Polish nuggets on you, dude, so get ready, bro. That sounds like I've got a little Polish wiener when I said that. I was like, I'm going to just hold up my little kielbasi and drop my little Polish nuggets on your forehead, dude, like we're in a frat or something. Which that would be sexual assault.
Yeah.
You know?
Don't stand for it, bros.
So, yeah, you can't do that. It's not cool. It's not funny. You know?
It's not the price of being in a frat. No.
Exactly. You're supposed to be philanthropic. You're supposed to, throw some nice ragers, create memories with your boys, good memories, So, and anyway, dude, Druids. Coming into this, here's what I knew about Druids. Stonehenge, where the Druids go, from, of course, this is Spinal Tap. Mm-hmm. That was my first reference to them. And so then I thought Druids were like their own like ancient culture or even their own tribe. Like I knew there was the Celts, and what we're talking about right now, Druids are mainly known for, and Stonehenge is in England, and I've been there actually. It was very gnarly. And it's basically these monoliths, and a monolith is a fucking big ass rock. Imagine Joe Morisi's hog, fat. Basically imagine like a car turned upside vertically, but like someone did that in like 2500 BC. But the history of the Druids is very complicated and shrouded in myth and mysticism and most likely exaggeration. And it's not really written about. Really the main writings we have from it are from Julius Caesar and a few other Roman historians, and some like Irish historian, like some sort of cross-referencing, but not really that much. And this is all around Julius Caesar's time, which is a little bit before Jesus's time, like 27, like really around, let me get you a better date here, like 59 to 51 BC. And he referred to this area as Gaul, right? Gaul is Britain, France, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, that area. That's what the Roman Empire called Gaul. And the people in Gaul were, you had the Celts, and they were very gnarly, and they were not easily conquered. In fact, they had Hadrian's Wall. Emperor Hadrian put up this wall. He's like, dude, we don't want to fuck with bros past that. Past that, it's even more gnarly. And even up to that, it's pretty gnarly. But, Julius Caesar, we can talk about this on a different episode, but has a very smart way of defeating the Celts and conquering there, and was one of the first thing that he did to make a name for himself. But we're talking about the Druids, and the Druids are a priestly order. I didn't know this, Erin. They are.
I assume, yeah.
Yeah, they're a priestly order among the Celts. It's believed, and this isn't. And here, I have to preface this pod with a lot of this. A lot of this research and what we know, and I kind of already said it, is shrouded in mystery. The Druids didn't have any writing. Their monolithic structures, which were there before the Druids, so that's not even confirmed that they even made these structures, and we'll get into Stonehenge and everything, but they didn't write. They had other ways of communicating and recording things, and maybe it was with stone, but they didn't have any sort of writing. They would use circles a lot. Stonehenge is arranged in a circle. That's why people are saying, oh, it's Druid. They were very like, sort of pagan and it was all in nature, dude. They'd hang out, bro, in the woods and do stuff, and we'll get into what they did. Just crazy stuff. But what I wanted to say is, many scholars believe, this is not confirmed, that like the Hindu Brahmin in the East and the Celtic Druid in the West are sort of lateral survivals of an ancient Indo-European priesthood. So like pagan gods and everything like that. And the Druid gods, we won't get too far into it, but there's both male and female Druid gods, similar to Greek, also with similar to the Vikings and Norse mythology. So they have their own mythology, but not as much is known about it because it's not recorded. It's not written down. And it's also, and we'll get into reasons why, lost to history for, various circumstances and reasons coming together. But let's get into who these people were. So they were basically a high priestly order. They were, and I feel like this is where people get conspiracy theory stuff down, where like these ancient orders come about. People say, oh, Winston Churchill was a Druid. And there's actually is like neo-Druids today. I didn't do too much research on it because I didn't want to go down that whole rabbit hole. If you're interested and it piques your interest, you can. But there are people who are like neo-Druids today. But the theory is like, oh, Winston Churchill are prominent people. It's sort of like you get people who are like, who are the Freemasons or stuff like that. And like the Elks or the Elk Lodge are like an offshoot of Masonic builders who are all go back to being Templars. And that has to do with like Christianity. And Christianity does intersect with the Druids, but it sort of, takes it down a little bit or envelops it. It's not really known. But there were male and female Druids. It wasn't just a male order. And they Druids kind of have more rights because they're keepers of esoteric knowledge. And that's where their true power lies in. A lot of people would say, oh, they'd be able to predict cycles. Like a great example is this guy, Cathbad. And he's an Irish sage Druid, the Druid of Ulster, who's like one of the kings, the father of King. And in some legends, Cathbad, he's able to decipher divine signals of the days and determine auspicious or inauspicious activities on certain exact days. And according to that tradition, there's a queen, Nessa, and she consults Cathbad, asking him what this day was auspicious for, and Cathbad answered and said it was auspicious for begetting a king upon a queen, and they were trying to have a child at that time. And then the next time that Nessa and the king lay together, Ulster, they create an heir. So that's tight. They're like, this guy knows when boning's gonna be legit. He's like, you're gonna be good at boning on this day, and it's gonna go down. So after that point, this guy Cathbad, I mean, according to even the king, who has access to all the resources, he's still not fucking a Druid, dude. But he's like, dude, how do you know that? But they're like, dude, don't worry, we have our secrets, bro. Don't worry, it's our order, bro. So, but a lot of the order that they use. And I remember going to Tulum, and you look at these stone structures and they follow, and we'll sort of get into the Druid calendar, but like they say it takes 20 years to learn the Druid ways. And what you're learning basically is like the calendar, the cycle, where the moon falls in the sky. And if like you learn how to read those things, and it can seem all mythical and crazy, but like if you take we're special, and like if you take the robes out of it and just, put some fucking pens in the front pockets and glasses on these dudes, you're like, oh, these are just nerds, dude. So they're basically, dude, what I'm saying is Druids were basically just ancient nerds. And they, in order to maintain power, because part of it was like Druids didn't have to pay taxes or go to war. So it was definitely in their benefit to be like, no, we're mythical. Like what we do is like, it's very tough to understand what we do. But really it's like, no, if we let you in our club and we trust you, we'll actually teach you. And then you can hold sway over kings and whoever the rulers are of that era. And it also helps that people back then like were fucking morons, dude. And I mean, I'm sorry to say it, but like no one knew how to read. There wasn't books, there was tablatures. This is like around fucking, what did I say? Let's just call it Julius Caesar's time and before that. So 51 to 59 BC. Literacy is not widespread, and then here's the thing, dude. Yeah, and I just called these ancient people dumbasses. They're smart. Dude. That was maybe too judgmental of me, dude. Who am I? You send me camping, dude. You put me camping alone in the woods, or even just give me my buffest friend, dude. My boy Mike Ferraro, dude, freaking legit at CrossFit. You put him out there with all 7 of his dogs. Dude's got too many dogs. I'll tell you right now, I'm in the woods. I'm scared. Have had access to the internet, modern theories, everything. I will literally start believing in ghosts and everything again if you put me in the woods by myself and I hear wind go too fast. Dude, if I hear the wind hollow or whatever the fuck it does, howl, I'm scared, Aaron. And then a dude shows up in a robe and starts predicting stuff. He's like, tomorrow the sun will rise. I'll be like, I don't think it will, but it has every single day. And then it does. I'll be like, dude, I will give you a blumpkin as long as you make me feel safe, dude. People want that security. It's a strange form of security, and you take away resources, all that type of stuff, it starts to work. So this is just sort of my strange theory of that. You spend enough time camping, dude. That's why you got to get good at camping, bro. Otherwise you're going to be susceptible to druids, dude, and sorcery and wizardry if you can't handle yourself, dude.
I think we inherently as a species want to believe in a gifted few.
True.
And then there's some of us out there who are just like, these fucking guys aren't that special.
Right. I mean, I do agree with that. Like there are people who are exceptional and smart and do great stuff, but like, how many stories do we have of the one or the chosen? Like that's across like every culture ever. You know what I mean? A savior. And I think it is because problems are bad and people suffer and there's disease and famine, especially thousands of years ago. And it's like, it's tough to find out, this is before we understood things working on a microscopic level. Like even cholera, like outbreaks in like the 1800s was like, you're a sinner, you're poor, you don't believe in God that much. Like if you don't, like people would literally say, that's why the plague is getting you. That's why cholera is getting you. Like up until almost like the turn of the into the 20th century, almost, even probably past that a little bit. But it's like, no, there's microscopic organisms at work.
Yeah, literally, just wash your hands.
Exactly. And also don't kill all the pets. Let the pets eat the rats. You went after the wrong people. That's why the plague got even gnarlier. So, but I will say, you made an interesting point about, also it's tough for people to face, and especially with conspiracy stuff, and we'll get back into some more druids in a second, but now you guys got to hear my theories and shit, bro. Theory number 1, fucking learn how to camp, dude, which I'm bad at, dude. So, step number 1, dude, is you got to just freaking know how to handle a nice knife, dude. Learn to whittle, bro. I watch that stuff on YouTube. I watch silent videos of just dudes, Norwegian bros, building thermal shelters in freezing temperatures. I love it, bro. I crack an IPA and I watch that. It's what my entertainment is now. But it's how evolved my entertainment is, or devolved, the way depending on how you look at it. But people that have issues or haven't had great success in life, it's often easier to blame either a group of people that's probably a clandestine society, druids, whatever you want to say, government factions working with one another, secret, Rasputins or string pullers behind the scenes being like, they're stacking the system against us. And it's like, no, like I probably should have just not gone to DeVry. I probably should have just listened a little harder. And there are people who are disenfranchised. That's not discounting that. There are stuff where like, the system is set up to like literally help out the wealthy. That's how like all of our tax breaks are. Business owners get all the best breaks. Like there are political things, but there isn't some secret society being like, nah, dude, we're going to take you down. I'm like, dude, even if there was, or like the people planning the moon, like the moon landing didn't happen. Like it's all a myth. We just wanted to, it's for the Cold War. We needed that at that time to keep morale. Otherwise, Kennedy was a free man. I'm like, dude, nah, dude, nah. Have you like ever been a part of any company or like worked anywhere like at a fucking, like at a Chipotle, which is, I feel like anybody could walk in and manage a Chipotle with relative ease, but even then it gets all fucked up. Like there's no way plans and people are that organized to cover that stuff up. Yeah. It would get screwed up. There's no way people are that good at that.
Yeah, and especially amongst conspiracy theorists who love the idea of people, there being hundreds of people who've been killed for threatening to come out with the truth or whatever.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
they have none for the moon landing.
Exactly. There's none for that, and it's very easy to say, oh, but they just have them killed. And, you know, people have been assassinated and killed. Like, things like that do happen. But, like, to cover up, like, you know, a moon landing, or to cover up, I just don't. I'm just very hard pressed to find it. But in ancient times, you know, and you know, you do have to go back to, I think you follow the nature argument. What's going to fill someone's belly, put a roof over their head best. You know, there's truth behind that type of stuff, and in power too. So it's difficult to say. But in ancient times, I'll tell you this: you had bros posting up in robes, dude. Okay, predicting stuff, and it's impressive. And what they're doing is gnarly. So the big thing with the Druids that I read about, and part of why they were banned, at least like on paper, the Romans emperors were like, Tiberius was the ruler at the time, but you know, Augustus was even ruling. I mean, Rome spent a lot of time in Gaul, but the Druids challenged, basically what they did is they challenged the power of the Roman Empire, right? If you had these people that the Celtics were looking to for advice and wisdom and to follow, that's going to challenge authority. That has to be crushed. So the Romans are like, look, these guys do human sacrifice. We don't like that, but also it's chill. Just come to our Colosseum. We pretty much do that, but it's sick because it's games. But we don't like it. But what they did do, the Druids, is pretty gnarly. And also, there is not evidence of this. But then I did a little more researching, and then there were some other people, like, we've done a episode on my freaking boy, Pliny the Elder, dude. And then there's this other discovery called the Lindo Man that we'll talk about. But it's all theoretical and can't quite be proven, but it piques interest. But the Romans were like, dude, these Druids, like, sure, they study ancient verse, natural philosophy, astronomy, and the lore of the gods. But, you know, we're not going to do that. You can pay your taxes, keep doing that however long you want. But look, you guys are sacrificing humans. So basically they would sacrifice humans if there was a battle coming up or someone was gravely sick. They would usually take a criminal. Ideally, they would take a criminal, but, you know, certain times, and if times were desperate enough, someone innocent, probably the village schmoll, which was unlucky. Everyone's like, Craig sucks. You know, his house kind of smells weird. And honestly, dude, like, you know, we all grow carrots here, and his carrots, they're just a little bit crooked and short. We don't like that guy's carrots. Craig fucking sucks, dude. Go ahead and say, he doesn't have any kids. Actually, no, he has a lot of kids, so his line will continue, so it's better. It's funny how that is, like, nowadays, if you have kids, you mean more, but back then, if you didn't have kids, it was like, oh man, you know, you're the last of your line. You should live your life out. But it's all about your line continuing. Anyway, I will not go down that tangent of that line any further. Point is, remember that movie Wicker Man with Nick Cage when he goes to that, like, island, and they're like gonna put him in like a witch's thing and like burn him and sacrifice him?
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
Yeah, but I mean, it is.
And then you got to watch that on YouTube too. Watch the Ben-Hur chariot races, but also watch Nick Cage supercut of him punching. He like punches one of the ladies in that movie, and it is so gold. It's so It's so gold. You got to watch it. You know, we don't condone violence against women. This is a fictitious thing, but watch that. You're gonna laugh. Anyway, the Druids would put people. They were known for going into the forest and doing their rituals and everything. So they would gather, you know, certain elements and pollens and specific woods, build up this wicker man, and then put the sacrifice in there and burn them alive. And, you know, this goes back to even the origin of the word druid, which is knower of the oak tree, is what it means in a Celtic word. And oak, it was often a symbol of wisdom. You know, not oak is sturdy and has been there a long time and has seen a lot. Longer you're around, the more experience you have, wise. So, and the Druids were concerned with the natural world. So, and they considered the oak tree very sacred. So maybe they wouldn't use the oak to actually burn, or maybe they would, depending on the sacrifice. I don't know how exactly the Druids would do it. Nobody does. In fact, no one can confirm that they did these burnings. But Julius Caesar was like, yeah, bro, I saw this shit. And everyone's like, that sounds pretty gnarly. Why'd they do that? He's like, dude, they want it to win a battle, or they're, I don't know who the schmoll's name was, Carl, but like Carl is a huge schmoll, and everyone likes freaking Dave. Dave's rad, dude. Dude chugs fucking brew and freaking slaps the bag with the best of them. If you don't know what slapping the bag is, that's when you take a sack of wine, chug as long as you can, then slap it before you're passing it to your other bro. So, dude, Dave slaps the bag like the best of them. We need to keep that guy alive, and he's pretty sick. So he's probably been slapping the bag too much, so we need to keep him alive. Let's fucking just try to roast Carl to do it. So that's gnarly. He gets put in a fucking wicker thing, dude. Straight up burnt, dude. Straight up torched. Super gnarly. And that's bad. Okay? That's bad. Other Roman writers, dude, they have a little more instance here. As I mentioned, Pliny the Elder, he wrote that the Druids, he says they love blood and gore. He says the Druids' appreciation for both mistletoe and human sacrifice. To murder a man was to do the act of highest devoutness, he wrote, and to eat his flesh was to secure the highest blessings of health. Tacitus even described a battle in Wales, it's another historian, in which Druids, they cover their altars with the blood of captives, and then they pray to their deities through the human entrails, covering themselves in it.
Jesus.
So they were doing stuff that would be like...
to most of that.
What's that?
No thanks to most of that.
Yeah. That's something that you roll up on in the woods and you go, what the fuck? That's something that where I'm camping, that's what I think I'm going to see. Terrifying.
Yeah.
And mistletoe is a sprig. Often you put a sprig of mistletoe above an archway, and then a pervert goes, oh, mistletoe, you got to kiss Uncle Rick. Convertible Craig's always got mistletoe on his belt buckle. So, you just got to know, the Druids were doing gnarly stuff, according to these Roman. And here's the thing. These Roman historians, they do have a bias. They do have a bias to write back to Rome and say, these people are barbaric. They need Rome. They need civilization. We need Rome. We need to save these people. So, you just can't, it's sort of an unreliable source, right? All of these are unreliable narrators, if you will. You have this something called the Lindo Man, okay? And this is where we kind of get, quote, hard evidence of ritual sacrifice. So this Lindo Man was, there was a dude fucking farming, posting up farming in Lindo, England or Ireland, I think, somewhere on the Isle. And he's fucking farming, dude, just straight up chilling, dude. And he comes across a bog, right? And maybe he's looking for truffles, if he's in bogs, or cranberries. And he comes across this body, and he goes, what the fuck? Got to report this to the authorities. Turns out he was a little late on the crime. It was 2,000 years old. And the body had been, according to carbon dating, 2,000 years old. It had been stabbed and strangled before being left for dead in the bog. Amazing that they're able to decipher this after 2,000 years, but I guess it was relatively preserved and compact in there in the bog. It said the stomach contained mistletoe pollen. We just heard our boy Pliny the Elder, who we love, who's also one of the dankest IPAs, mention the affinity Druids have for their love of blood and gore and mistletoe. So it led people to believe that this was a ritual sacrifice, perhaps done by the Druids. So very, very gnarly. In any case, we don't know exactly if they did this, right? We don't know what they went on to do. We do know that they ended up disappearing. Augustus outlawed started suppressing Druid rituals in 27 BC. So this is even before, or sorry, after Julius Caesar, because I forget BC counts up to 0. Shortly after Caesar's experience in Gaul. But then you have, like I mentioned, we're counting up to AD, the time of Jesus. And so then you have in the British Isles, Christianity is born in the Holy Land in Jerusalem, Judea, and starting to spread through Europe and the Roman Empire. And it's reaching the British Isles. So many, and we've talked about this, if you listen to the Patreon, What Up, I talk about the origins of Halloween and the origins of Christmas and sort of the blending, like why Christmas, why is Jesus born on December 25th? A lot of it goes back to Celtic traditions and Druid traditions. We just mentioned Druids ingest human body for health. What do Christians do? They ingest their deity. Other religions have done that. So there is a very real and very, things, it makes sense how we get these traditions and these, sacraments, I guess they would be called in the tradition, Christian tradition, but they come out of history. They don't just get invented and snap out of nowhere. Ideas do, a light bulb pops and a new idea comes, but it comes from something, right? You gotta say what came first, the chicken or the egg, you know what I'm saying? So, there's definitely in all of this, especially with the Druids, mysticism and exaggeration. There is some kernel, maybe a seed of a mistletoe of truth in here. Now, do I know if Druids like to cover themselves in the entrails of their enemies or their ritualistic victims? I don't know. The Mayans had human sacrifice. Why is it to say that the Celts weren't doing the Romans did it for sport, right? And they would offer up their games to God, Commodus, to the gods. Commodus would do that. Oh, we honor Zeus with these games. It's basically, boils down to it, the exact same thing. It just is creepier because with Druids, it just has an area of creepiness because, dude, let's be honest. They're doing it in the woods, bro. Erin, what good's ever gone down in the woods, bro? You ever heard of something? You ever heard a story start, hey, so I was in the woods and then something legit happened? No. My boys go mountain biking through the woods, but they don't start it off, I was in the woods. They go, no, I was fucking mountain biking. That's tight. Okay, was it an alpine trail? Sick. Nothing good ever starts, so I was in the woods. Who are you with? I was by myself. Oh, cool, this story's going to go somewhere nice. What happened, dude? You got a blumpkin? No. You either get mauled by a bear or some Druids cruise up in robes. Let's be honest, dude. Dudes in robes, a lot of adult dudes posted up in robes, I'm worried. Okay?
Yep.
Okay? Adult dudes with long beards, I'm worried, unless they're at a craft brewery. Then I get it, and you're allowed to have a long beard. Gandalf's the only chiller, dude. Gandalf, he comes from wizardry, dude. A lot of, we'll get into where the Druids ended up and stuff, but these dudes posted up in robes, dude. So gnarly. You got to hear more about these guys' robes, bro. Yikes. More about this. I'm going to get into the Druid holidays and a little bit more on Stonehenge, whether it was involved with the Druids or not. But first, before we do that, I got to give a huge shout out, dude, and let you know that Babbel is legit. It's the addictively fun and easy way to learn a new language. And look, dude, learning a second language in high school, I could tell you right now, dude, I took 8 years of Spanish. None of it stuck. It was just too long. Classes were too long. I was bored. You know what I mean? I wanted to make jokes. I wanted attention from others, dude. It was a group setting. Okay, I never thrived. It was just the memorization was tough because it was just straight up memorizing. It was like hard work on the brain. I would tire out. But now, dude, thanks to Babbel, dude, the language learning app sold more than 10 million subscriptions. They're legit. Babbel's 15-minute lessons. It's the perfect way to learn a new language, dude, on the go. That's what I like. We're adults. We're moving around. We got busy lives. You got kids, dude. I got to go hit some stand-up comedy shows with my bros, dude. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm like, look, I got Polish heritage. I want to learn how to speak a little bit of Polish, how to connect with, you know, maybe relatives, dude, that I don't even know about. I'm only getting older and more boring. You know, it's only a matter of time before I go on ancestry.com or whatever it is, dude. Start doing something like that. You know that I'm going to want to connect, dude. And I'm going to talk to my boy Tomek at the food truck. And I'm excited for this easy language learning journey to begin. They've got over 14 different languages, bro, that you can choose from, including Spanish, if you want to revisit that, if you're me, French, Italian, and German. But I'm excited for this new chapter of Polish. And I'm very excited about these short 15-minute easy lessons that are composed not by AI, but real, actual human language experts. So they're awesome. They're super fun, super accessible, and it makes the memorization very easy, and it comes on with ease, even for someone like me. Literally, anyone can do it. Great stories, you know, that's what I connect to. Games, videos, really, really fun, awesome. And dude, honestly, the accent, dude, that's what the thing with confidence. You know, I'm kind of nervous when I want to say hi to Tomek or something. Am I pronouncing it right? Babbel has speech recognition technology that helps you improve your pronunciation and accent, which is so tight. So right now, which is even more tight, you can get up to 55% off your subscription when you go to babbel.com/dank. That's babbel.com/dank for up to 55% off your subscription. Babbel, language for life. All right, dude. I'm fired up on Babbel, and I'm scared of the Druids, dude. So you're like, who are these guys? They're a priestly order. They're posted up in robes. They had a hierarchy of robes, okay? And I don't know how this dude knows this because they like didn't write stuff down, so this has to be like an oral history. But he's like, they had classes, like Druid class. And first of all, I'll give a big note on class that I missed at the top is Julius Caesar's writing about the Celts, and he's like, they have two classes. There's three really. He's like, there's noblemen, then there's everyone else. There's the haves and have-nots, of course, like every society. But he goes, but then there's these Druids, this priestly order who are of very high esteem. And he's like, these dudes, you can't miss them because they've got long ass beards, dude. They cruise out to the woods. They wear robes, bro, that are color coded. So the eldest Druid, or the one deemed to be the most wise, the arch Druid, dude, he would wear gold robes. Makes sense. Gold. The ordinary Druids would wear white and act as priests, dude. So just dudes posted up in white robes. They would fight. Oh, and then the sacrificers, they would wear red, maybe to blend in the blood or something like that. The blue bards, these guys were the artistic ones, dude. They're just playing like friggin' those old school little 3-string sitars or friggin' mandolins while someone's being sacrificed. And then they had the new recruits, dude, the schmoles, who completed the lesser tasks, and they wore brown or black robes. So opposite of karate in that regard, dude. You know, if you had a freaking sick ass, you're a black belt, you know, you're the highest. So, but if you have a black robe, you're a small Druid. So just a little fun fact on that, how you can spot one, dude. So if you're in the woods and you see a dude with a long beard, don't necessarily jump to conclusions. It might just be, you know, dude just trying to do some shrooms and chill. Speaking of chilling, dude, holidays for the Druids. Okay. Like I mentioned earlier, they observe lunar, solar, and seasonal cycles. This is where a lot of their esoteric knowledge was gained from. Also, you know, passing along secrets. I mean, that's where these secret societies come from, but it's secret because it's knowledge. You know, knowledge is something that we would want to be shared, but these dudes, they were not sharing their knowledge. They only shared it among themselves so they could hold power. And according to these cycles, there's like 8 main holidays of the Druids, right? A couple of them are, they celebrate New Year. They called it Samhain, the day that we refer to as Halloween. So I mentioned this in the Patreon, a little bit more on that, but they liked it because they believed mystically, that spiritually, that the living and the deceased came the closest together at that time. It could reveal, you know, activities or ongoings. And I must at this point offer the disclaimer that, you know, I'm observing Druids through my 21st century lens. Maybe some of these guys did. I bet you some Druids were like, yeah, dude, there is mystical shit, bro. Like on this New Year's Day, souls do rise up and talk. And they were known for like, they would put people into states of like hysteria, where like their body would be convulsing. Maybe it was like done through using herbs because they knew how to use herbs and stuff like that. And also maybe they would just like dehydration or whatever the hell it was, plus like just being fired up with the boys. Like, dude, I've been so fired up with the boys, I wanted to just go streaking immediately. So just, you got to imagine that, just, with some legit ass herbs, druid herbs, some freaking mistletoe pollens, dude, and some other stuff, and full moon, that could get your body just cruising, plus your beliefs, dude. You get some people that are hard beliefs on that. You throw a little thunder and lightning in the mix, it happens to be a storm. Guess what, dude? That's the fall. That's the fall, bro. Guess what happens in the fall, dude? October and freaking, thousands of years ago, I know there's, climate is cyclical, but guess what, dude? It rains a lot there, dude. They're gonna be like, oh, it's gonna probably rain today. Guess what, dude? You live in fucking Ireland, bro. It's probably gonna rain, dude. And then one day it's sunny. They're like, oh, yeah, dude, it's May right now. April showers bring May flowers. Oh, yeah, dude, it's probably going to be some flowers cruising up in May. Then a flower gets born, and then he's like, oh, that flower means that babies are going to happen. Guess what? It's not winter anymore. People are more horny now. Okay, it's more horny in the spring, dude. And then some freaking elder druid dude is going to be like, oh, yeah, bro, you should probably go bone the queen. It's going to be tight. You guys will probably have a baby now. Probably wouldn't happen in the winter. I would do it now in this next little time frame. Guess what, dude? They end up having a baby, dude. And then if it doesn't happen, guess what? I got a billion excuses. A crow just fucking landed. Oh, dude, when you left, I forgot to tell you, bro, that a fucking crow landed on one of our stones that we moved. And that means that what I said to you actually didn't count. So my bad on that, dude. You want some freaking more mistletoe, bro? Dude, if I was a druid, dude, I would just be so laid back and condescending, Aaron. I'd be like, you guys don't even know what fucking crows are all about. I'd have a little dog with me all the time, dude. This little dog barks, dude. It means that you might get sacrificed. Don't fucking make my dog bark, dude. And that's the thing, dude. Rulers were like that, Aaron. Absolute power absolutely corrupts.
Of course.
Hopefully I would be a chill ruler, dude.
Pointed hat, even more.
Yeah, they would have pointed hats, bro.
Yep.
Robes and pointed hats, some sticks. That's where wizards came from, dude.
Mm-hmm.
They would celebrate this festival called Yule, so winter solstice, dude. Druids would sit on mounds of earth, for example, in New Grange in Ireland. They'd sit there all night waiting for the sun to rise, and they believed they were reborn. They believed, part of their belief was that, and that's where people say like, oh, Buddhism in the East and this Celtic Druids in the West, they believed like in reincarnation and that sins in this life could be repaid for in the next life. Also makes human sacrifice a lot more tolerable if you have that belief. They'd celebrate something called Imbolc. Even saying these words sounds crazy. Dude, what are you doing for Yule this year, dude? I don't know. I might just post up on a mound, get reborn. It's okay, dude. Sorry I freaking sacrificed your brother last weekend, dude. I'm going to sit on this mound. It's going to be all chill tomorrow, though, because I'm reborn. Imbolc, dude. Involved using sheep's milk by the way of celebrating motherhood, dude. They would have, I don't know what they would do with it, dude. Maybe freaking guzzle that stuff, dude. Slap the bag with sheep's milk. Ostara, dude. The spring equinox, dude. Festivals of fertility. They were having orgies, dude. The druids were posted up in robes having orgies in the woods for sure, dude. Litha was the summer solstice, a time when they believed the whole Holly King took over from the Oak King of Yule. Let's see. Basically, every equinox they have a holiday reflecting the cycles of nature, planets, and indeed life itself. They believed in, I already mentioned that, reincarnation. So they believe in this circle of everything, right? Game of Thrones, dude, definitely borrows from this stuff, dude. Druid temples, they didn't really have, that's also why we don't know so much about it. They didn't really have temples. It was mainly all natural. They were in the woods using wood and stuff and clearings in the woods and forest and some stone circles like a Stonehenge, maybe not that big, definitely on smaller scale. Stonehenge would be a very large one. But that dates back to like 2500 BC. So people thought, and it's common knowledge to think that was actually there before the Druids were there. But it could be another similar order in a priesthood that shared some beliefs in wisdom and knowledge as the Druids, and maybe they assimilated together. We don't know. We don't know. But, so you do know, and you can go forward saying, you know, Stonehenge, where the Druids go from Spinal Tap, maybe the Druids did go there. Maybe that is accurate, but doesn't mean they built that. They probably built shit like it, but not exactly Stonehenge. Can't say for certain. Let's see. There's a place called Anglesey. It's a place where Druids were taught. Like I mentioned, it took about 20 years for them to learn their lore. Had to be learned by heart. There was no written language. Another reason why we know so little about them. And in Gaul and the Celts, I mean, they had some written stuff, Greek characters and you know, a lot of these, like once Caesar came into order, that's what happens when you have like conquering, like when the Romans come in, they conquer the Celts, whatever the Celts knew they might get rid of because they want to have power, and they're like, no, that's all gone now. They destroy it. So it's just a bust. It's like, couldn't these people think about my podcast 2,000 years ago so I could know? But you go, okay, well, there were Druids. Where did they go? Why are they gone? Like I mentioned earlier, Romans, Augustus outlawed Druid practices in 27 AD. And then with the rise of Christianity comes in, and a lot of people that may have listened to the Druids are now going, oh no, there's a new religion, and this is something that we're relating to and responding to for whatever reasons. And they then become Christian, and, you know, maybe some people of that, or, you know, Druids themselves cruise over. And I mean, I have a theory that they just are all the dudes that became magicians now. You know, like if there's a Druid, it's probably just an uncle who's kind of, you know, not that chill, and he's like, dude, you want to see a trick? And that's, you know, Druid nowadays, dude. So, but maybe not. Maybe there are evil dudes in the woods, and they're listening to this podcast, and next time I go camping, which is going to be never, they'll get me. So I have to be careful of what I say. Also, look, I've been coming down pretty hard on the Druids on this pod, and I gotta say, dude, who am I to judge? I don't know, dude. I don't know shit, dude. Do know that Stonehenge was probably not built by the Druids, but other than that, who's to say, bro? Who's to say? All I do know is that they're gnarly. They held sway over the Celts, who were a badass fighting people, dude. They did gnarly shit, dude. Human sacrifice not confirmed, but I would say with those other details that I looked up, probably, definitely, probably, which is a great statement, could have gone down. That's something that we could for sure say. So a lot of people were either converted to Christianity, it was outlawed, they may have been persecuted, probably most likely were if you were caught doing these practices out in the woods. And then you have the natural elements such as disease, famine, warfare. These things wipe people out. That just happens. There's nothing you can do about that. I mean, you could have had the most smart ass or most legit arch druid in his golden robe chilling, and, you know, guy could catch a cold the next day, or, you know, step on a twig and that gets infected in his foot, and then you're gone. That's what's gnarly about living in these times, dude. Something that we wouldn't think twice about today. He'd get bitten by his own dog. That dog that I said I wanted, my little freaking dank ass dog, that if it barked at you, you mean you were gone? Maybe that dog bit his hand. Who knows what that dog was chewing on? Gets in him, dead. Shit happened like that a lot back in the day. Disease, famine, warfare. So these things are shrouded in mystery, and what we have are interesting things that create, but what we need to be careful of is not glorifying, but buying too hard into these things of like, oh, just secret orders. I mean, look, I used to hate the movie The Skulls. I'd make fun of Chris Parr about it. The Order of the Phoenix, the Skulls, these clubs. Because the thing is, there are these clubs, and there are people who are prominent members of society because they like went to Yale and stuff and all that, and like presidents. But do I actually think that it's these clubs that are like dictating like new world orders and stuff? I'm like, I don't think so. Like, I think it's a small part of like people that I bet like I'm more hard pressed to believe that like country clubs predict that rather than secret societies. Like two dudes golfing together who like are major executives, and then like their companies merge and become one, and then that leads to like less options for, you know, the masses, and then they're like, see, we used to be able to do that, and then now it's this price. And I'm like, I believe like stuff like that happens at country clubs. Orgies probably happen there too, and I do know that dudes wear robes when they get out of the showers in the golf locker room, but I don't know if they're like cult style ranking robes, you know, and people offer themselves as tribute, eyes wide shut style. Then people talk about Epstein's Island, Erin, you know, and that just sounds like he's a pervert, and he would have his rich friends do pervert stuff. You know, I don't know if there was like any sort of ritualistic thing going on there. Why would we love rituals, Erin? That's what I wonder. Why are they so intriguing to us? It's the unknown. It's the unknown. It's the mythical. It's always, we want answers, and we do want, and I like that theory that you said earlier, that, and I think this is maybe convoluting the two, but I think we want answers to why maybe things are difficult, or why things happen in our lives. Maybe those that believe in conspiracies, or like these really super effective and efficient clandestine groups controlling things and maybe making us put things in our body, and it's all about control. I mean, it makes no sense that, like, yeah, it's just too hard to believe that there's that much order, you know? But I do think that there's major players, and I do think that there's people that possess knowledge. I think now that the internet's here, it's more legit, dude. We have more access to it. Like, I mean, back in the day, you imagine you give some Celts an internet or a library and start teaching them to read. You think they're going to follow dudes into the woods as readily? I don't know. Maybe after one session of camping alone, if the wind's howling loud enough, maybe. I don't know. Probably, definitely. That's what I'd say to that, dude. You're going to get a lot. You're going to get a big old probably, definitely out of me, dude. But I'd probably definitely say I don't think William Blake was a Druid, or Winston Churchill. Like, these guys go to wizard meetings, dude. I don't think there's dudes at wizard meetings, bro. Erin, do you think there's bros at wizard meetings, dude? I don't think so, dude. Dude's paintballing, dude, going to wizard meetings. I would become a Druid if I was allowed to go paintballing, bro. Tell you that much right now. Tell you that much 1,000%, dude. Also, dude, their holidays, I mentioned this in the beginning. Samhain holiday, right? Their new year. In the woods, you do paintball. So I think I'm going to come full circle on Druids and say good stuff does happen in the woods. You just don't lead with that. You just really gotta work on your marketing. You don't say, hey, come to the woods. We're all going to get in a circle and meet. It's like, no. Hey, cruise out. Meet me at this freaking sick ass name of this rock, like Eagle Rock. Meet me at Eagle Rock. Okay, tight. Bring a mask. Why? Because we're paintballing. Oh, but also, after that, whoever sucks at paintballing is going to get sacrificed. What? Then maybe, you know, just maybe, I mean, I'm still not down, but I'd show up. You're telling me on Ostara, the spring equinox, we're going to go go-karting? I'm there. You're telling me we're going to go play two-touch football on the beach on Lugnasa, the first harvest in the 2nd of August? Yeah. I'm there. It's all about marketing, bro. It's all about that. And other than that, dude, I was just happy to learn that Druids, I didn't know. I thought they were a whole entire civilization. When I started my research, I thought I was going to find out, oh, they came from here. They built these. You know, they were the predecessors of the Celts, and then their language. No, it's a priestly order. So priestly orders, dude, can be scary. You know, getting into some gnarly stuff, dude, and fanatics, dude. You know, you got to be careful of fanatics, bro. So, and hysterics. But I'm telling you again, dude, you put me in a camping tent, no Wi-Fi, howling wind.
Just some light chanting out in the darkness.
Yeah, dude, light chant. Yeah, bro, you can't be
thanks.
chanting.
No.
Any chance, if I hear that, it's over, dude. I don't know. I don't care how well I know how to whittle or how legit my freaking winter shelter is, dude. I'm done. So I'm scared. They definitely did scary stuff, dude. Back then, living a long time ago, dude, I think we can say it, would suck. It's definitely better the more we go forward. Stuff still sucks. There's still unfairness and inconsistencies. But at least I'm not getting sacrificed.
Yeah.
And to that, I say freaking hell yeah. And to that, I say, you know, get after it with your boys. Check out the Patreon if you want to learn more about that Halloween app. I'm going to put some more stuff out on Patreon this month. Appreciate the subscribers I've got. Give me some questions, dude. You know what I'm saying? Give me some questions, bro. I mean, I got one right here, dude. What up, Strider? Where do they get the most geeked on loud in the U.S.? Is it possible to deduce this by judging artistic output? It's a great question. So, Yakim is who sent that in. And he has a theory in there. He's positing a theory that if you get geeked off loud, which I think is just absolutely charred to your dome on weed, that you're going to be more artistic. I don't necessarily know if that's the metric. I would say, where do people order the most Taco Bell past midnight? I would look at that metric. Uber Eat Taco Bell orders 11:30 p.m. and 2 a.m. That's where people are getting the most geeked off loud. Definitely a cityscape, no question on that. No question on that. And then, you know, by chance, you know, you might have a bias statistic like artistic output. You know, people in Austin, Texas, that's supposed to be an artsy city. You know, people are getting geeked off loud in Austin, bro. You know that's happening. So I like what you're saying. I do think you can deduce that, but I don't know if artistic output is the metric. I think it's late night Taco Bell orders. And also reruns of, you know, clicks. You look at the algorithm, just check who's like rewatching old episodes of South Park or Family Guy. How many Family Guys, or who's typing in on YouTube, best cutaway scenes, Family Guy, and ordering Taco Bell in the same night. Then there you have it. All right, dudes. Fired up on another app, dude. Stonehenge, bro. The Druids. Stoked to learn about them, what we can. It's history's mysteries, bro. You know, it's tough because we lose a lot of stuff. And, you know, it's tough when people don't keep written records or tablatures, or maybe we just haven't found them yet. We just might not know. Maybe they were writing a ton. We just don't know. So stay stoked. Stay out of the woods. Don't go into the woods alone unless you got your paintball gun and you know how to whittle. Other than that, dude, stay fired up. Catch you on the next app. Lit.